Welcome to the Friendly Moms Club podcast with Jen and Karlee. We're the new mom friends you didn't know you needed.
We are creating a safe space to bring moms together, lighten the heaviness, and find joy in the everyday moments. Together, we will share our own experiences of being new moms while navigating the topics we wish more people talked about.
Join us every Monday to hear us skip the small talk and dive right into the uncomfortable.
Happy Mom Day, Karlee.
Happy Mom Day, Jen. It's not a beautiful day. I mean, it's a somewhat beautiful day out in the neighborhood, but in our heads and in our households and in our bodies and in our child's minds, it is not a beautiful day. Today, actually this week, our children have woken up and chosen violence. And not violence, just
they didn't choose it. They just got so sick.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's not a choice. They're not giving us a hard time. They're having a hard time. Yeah.
Yes. And it's because of daycare, and I love daycare. I'm not mad at daycare by any means. I don't blame them. It is what it is. When you're in daycare, you're going to get all these colds, especially when they're young. And I went actually to my midwife appointment this week, and she's like, there's actually some really good research out there about immunity in children later in life that have gone to daycare versus children that don't go to daycare. She's like, maybe that'll make you feel better. I was like, thank you. As I'm crying in there, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to hold on to that maybe this research makes
yeah, so maybe they get sick now, but then once they become adults. Yeah, okay. I like good research.
Or like just later in school. So I was like, hey, right? Me too.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so we struggle now and then we'll be good later. As your child gets older, it also gets more difficult. Like then I think the tantrums and stuff can get bigger, the like outbursts, there is something to them dealing with all of this when they're small. Like it's heartbreaking, but it's all, I don't know. Pros and cons to everything.
Yeah. I always say, though, I'm going to struggle now and then it's going to be better later. But like it just keeps getting worse. So maybe we tell ourselves we struggle now and it gets easier later. But then
I think that's just the cycle.
We just keep going uphill. Like it doesn't actually get easier, Anyways, that's life. That's 2023.
I said this to Nanette. I'm like, everyone warned me that kids get sick. Oh, yeah, kids get sick a lot. Like they start daycare, they get sick a lot. And I was like, yeah, they're going to get sick. But like, I didn't truly understand how, like, it's actually shocking to me, even though everyone warned me about it.
And it's not just that they get sick. It's that they get sick and like your entire life crumbles. Like everything everything. Sleep, eating, mood.
Oh, yeah. The amount of kids I know that have, let's say, ear infections. They have the stomach flu. They have colds. I know multiple that have pneumonia right now. Multiple that have hand, foot, and mouth going around. RSV, rhinovirus, that's been going around.
There's everything.
There just is a lot of stuff going around right now. It just seems particularly bad. And I guess they're saying we're still in that post-COVID, everyone coming out of their, what's the word? When you have to stay in your house.
Not quarantine, isolation. What was it called? Oh, social distancing.
We're still like that isolation cocoon of COVID. We're still dealing with the after effects of it. Anyways, that was our very long update about our sick children. And it's a day, but it's like literally 2 days before Christmas. This should be the happiest time of the year. And it is happy. It is good. It's just a lot. It's not like other years. Like it's just last year was so much fun with a baby at Christmas. They didn't really know what was going on, but it was just, I guess, the joy of having a baby, and they slept really well. Like, they just slept during the day on Christmas. It was pretty easy. And this year is just going to look a lot different for both of us.
I remember last year we were at Jeff's parents' house and we were with his brother and sister-in-law, and we were sitting and we were playing a board game of some sorts and having some mimosas, having a great time. And then Henry was just sleeping on the couch next to us, just snoozing, just laying there sleeping. And I'm like, what baby? And now this year it's like, that's not happening. It's like his presence is known.
Now Christmas is revolving around the baby, right? Like it's totally different. Anyways, we wanted to do like a little bit of a New Year's update, where we're at, what the podcast is up to.
New year, not new us.
Kind of what happened in 2023, what we're going into, some goals.
A little reflection, a little goal setting.
I'm not a huge goal setter, but I do believe in having some intentions for the new year is always good to set you off in the right direction. Yeah, and then we'll talk about, where the podcast is going.
Yeah, are you a New Year's resolution person?
No, I'm not. But I do believe in like having some guidance, some like, what's the word?
Direction?
I just used a very good word for it.
Intention.
It's intention. Yeah, thank you. I do believe in setting kind of intentions for the year, and we'll just jump into this. The life update, right? Baby's going to be here in a few weeks, and I want to work on that intention of going in with a positive mindset of, okay, I'm going to have 2 under 2. What is that going to look like? Like, what are my mini goals for this, for the days of having 2 under 2 and still dealing with Jordan while having the baby? So it's not really like a New Year's, this is my goal for the year. It's kind of like little intentions I want to think about throughout the year.
I think that's fantastic. So
yeah. Okay, I guess I'll just continue with my life update since we started it. So yeah, baby is going to be here in a few weeks. I only have maybe 2 doctor's appointments left if I get to both of them, which is crazy to me. And it's going to be a planned C-section. Nana he uses the term the sunroof because he thought it was hilarious that you used that. In one of the first couple episodes, you said that, and he thought that was the best thing. But as it's getting closer, I told Nana, like my husband, I'm not scared of the C-section. I'm scared of the recovery again. And I had a fine recovery, so I don't know why I'm worried about it. I'm just kind of like so done with being sick and not feeling well that I just want to like get the baby out and then feel good. And I'm like, okay, the baby's going to come out, but then I still have a recovery. And I think that's the part that I'm really hung up on right now. So I've just chosen to not think about it at all. It's just a lot. I just want to feel normal again.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's more variables this time. You're having another C-section, which you had a great recovery the first time, but it's still a major surgery. It's still birth. You're going to have a baby on the other end, and you have a toddler. So like there's a lot, I think it's very expected to be nervous about it.
Yeah, it's just, that's my biggest worries are that. And then how do you care for and love 2 children at the same time? Because it seems so like unfathomable to me that you can share the amount of love that you have for this one child you have, and then all of a sudden you have a second. And people say it just happens. But again, that's incomprehensible for me right now. I'm just like reeling around in this idea. My brain is just like, holy crap, I don't know what's happening. Yeah.
That's fair.
I've been off work though for the last few weeks, almost a month now I've been off work, and that has been life-changing. It's a game changer for me. I actually can do like 1 or 2 things a day now, whereas before I just worked and I came home and I laid on the floor with Jordan and I went to bed. I did absolutely nothing during my days, and I was not doing well mentally, physically. I saw a reproductive mental health psychiatrist, and I was diagnosed with depressive disorder and another anxiety disorder along with my PTSD. So that was where it was recommended that I take some time off, and best decision ever. So I'm also on medication, and we increased that. And so I think the combination has made it possible for me to, keep going, and I'm doing a couple things a day now, which is great. But with all the sickness, like we just talked about, it's just, they're like, how do you feel like you're doing? I was like, maybe better, but like, how do you know when your child is constantly sick and screaming and crying all the time? And so that's where we're at. What about you, Karlee? Where are you at in your life right now?
Where am I at? Well, I shared a little bit about it on social media, but I'm also in a kind of similar situation to Jen, where I'm just mentally not doing so great. Returning to work has definitely relapsed a lot of my anxiety and depression and the intrusive thoughts. And I'm realizing now that when I'm at work, it's the same as when I was pregnant. I would go to work and I would have to give absolutely everything to be there just to function. And then I would leave work and absolutely crumble because any capacity I had, I was giving to work. And then outside of work, I was just like not a human. And it took me a really long time in pregnancy to actually realize that. And then recently, I've realized that like outside of work, I was actually like, I was not able to like do mom things. Like Henry would start crying and I would immediately hand him to Jeff and be like, here, you do this. And like, I'll go empty the dishwasher, or I'll go, fold the laundry. And I was like still doing things, but like anytime that Henry either cried or like needed something, I like shut down, and I just like, I couldn't. And one day I was home alone with him and he was crying because he was sick. And I literally stared at him for like 5 minutes before I realized like, crap, I'm supposed to do something. And I'm like, this is not me. This is not me in my best mental state. Our daycare is closed, and it worked out with my work schedule that Jeff would have only had to take, I think, 1 day off when I was at work during the week. Other than that, I was working weekends over the next few weeks. And the thought of being alone with Henry for 4 days straight, like I almost had a panic attack. I was like, I actually can't do this. Like I am not coping in my life to be able to care for him in any way. I'm taking a short little break from work, just for like about 2 weeks right now, just to kind of reevaluate to see how I'm doing. And I am also in the works of making a shift in my position, which would change the environment and the hours and schedule, which I think I really, really need, because I'm realizing like I can't keep going like this. I am like sending myself into a mental health crisis in a job where my job is to care for people, but I'm not caring for myself. One of my supervisors was like, I'm always here if you want to talk. I don't want to hear later that you've been struggling. And I'm like, well, that's the thing, is that like I internalize things and I mask things and I'm fine. And then I'm not fine, but like I don't realize I'm not fine until I realize it. And then it's too late. Yeah, that was a lot more detailed than I was planning to share, but that's real life. That's where I'm at right now.
You're not alone in these feelings. I think that there's probably a lot of moms that go back to work and all of a sudden realize like, the job that I'm in and how I'm functioning and how I'm functioning at work versus at home is not what I want anymore. I mean, I think your situation is a bit unique with just the position, the hours, and some of the stuff, but I think these feelings are important to share because you are not the only one that's had these. Like there's so many big, like we talked about in the returning to work episode, I think it was this week or last week it aired. Like you just, sometimes your whole goals and plans shift, and you went to school for how long and you thought this was it for you. And then now you're like, what? Maybe this isn't. And, I thought my job was my dream job and forever job. And now I'm questioning that. Having a kid makes you reevaluate what's important. And I also think it reminds you to put yourself first, because you can't be a mom if you're not looking after you. So I think it's almost a good thing that you're realizing like, no, I'm not okay. And putting yourself first, because I think that that's very important.
It's hard to do, but I already feel like this like sense of relief where I'm actually able to, like this morning or last night, I was like, hey, like you get up with Henry when he wakes up overnight and then I'll get up with him in the morning. And just saying that and knowing that I actually thought that I could do it was huge. Because normally I'd be going to bed and like as soon as he woke up, I would like panic because I was like, oh my God, I have to be a mom now.
Yeah.
And I cannot. Anyways, that's where we're at. Exciting times. Let's shift to something a little bit more positive.
So next we're going to move on to something we're proud of for 2023. And we like to practice gratitude and kind of be positive and things on a high note. And so we want to leave 2023 on a high note and say something that we are proud of. And we highly encourage you to do the same thing. Just reflect back on the year and just out loud or write it down or something to make sure you really are acknowledging it, something you are proud of. So we will start. What are you proud of for 2023?
Me start. What am I proud of? Well, a little background info here. We've been having some technical difficulties, and this is about the 17th time that we have tried to record this one little part, but I think we're on the mend. So for right now in 2023, I'm really proud of myself for not throwing the computer out the window.
I'm also proud of us.
We didn't even yell. We just don't have anything in us to yell right now. It was just like, oh, it's not working. Yeah, 2023. Going into it, I was 3 months postpartum. I was in that point where like you're just finishing up the fourth trimester, like you're kind of a shell of a human. The sleep deprivation is like really set in. And I vowed for 2023 to do more things that made me feel like myself. So that's what I did. I did more yoga. I did more walking. I started to take care of myself. I did things like doing my nails, which are not done right now, but they will be. Maybe this afternoon. Yeah, so like more self-care stuff. And I really focused on the idea that if I can just do a little bit every day, that all of those little things will add up to something bigger. And that is what happened. I didn't do any of these like big lofty workout goals, but I did say that like I need to move more. And I did, a little 10 minutes of yoga here, walk around the block there. And over time, those changes or those actions and movements like really did make a difference for my mental health and just general well-being. So I think I'm most proud of that. Telling myself you need to do more things that make you feel like you, and then actually doing it.
You do normally have your nails done. I will attest to that. And you normally will like pick different fun colors, based on the holidays, what's coming up.
I need to put that on my to-do list so I don't forget. So you tell me, Jen, what are you most proud about?
For me, I am basically, it's very broad, but I'm just proud that I got through the year, really. It's been a hard year. We've had kind of just like things happening constantly, and Jordan being sick constantly, and just like life's kind of come at us at lots of different angles this year. I feel like it's tested us a lot. And then finding out we were pregnant again when it wasn't planned was a big twist in our road, but we kind of took it in stride, and we're
little plot twist.
we're doing it. I mean, what else do you do? But we're doing it, and we're excited to have another baby now. But we just kept going, and I think there's lots of times that we wanted to throw in the towel and just like have a pity party, but one of us kept the other going. And we did some work in couples therapy this year, and I think that it did actually work. Like we kept each other going. It wasn't always 50-50. There was times where he did 100% and I was at 0, times that I was doing more and he was struggling, but we kept going together, which was really good. And I also want to say something I'm proud of for Karlee and I is that we kept the podcast going.
We did. A
lot of people say they want to start something and like talk about it, and they don't actually do it, or they start it and they only do it for a few weeks and are like, you know what, this isn't for us. But we actually did it and we've done it for a while now. Like, I don't even know what episode we're in, the 30s for episodes.
Yeah. Not only did we keep the podcast going, but we started it in 2023. Did we plan for it in 2022? No, it must have all been 2023.
I think it was all in 2023. Yep. But I just wanted to give ourselves a little pat on the back for
go us.
Her podcast baby. We had another baby. Look at us.
We
go.
did.
We had so many
oh my gosh. We have so many babies. Yeah. And we have no plans to slow down. We are kind of shifting things to kind of make them work better for us. We're probably going to do a lot more virtual recordings. I guess we weren't really anticipating to also be using Instagram as much as we are, but like we're having fun with everything. We have really enjoyed connecting with everyone. So any of you who have sent us messages, anybody who's ever commented or left us a review, like we love hearing from you. We love the DMs on Instagram. We love when you find us on Instagram and say, hey, I found you in podcasts and listened and I was having a really rough night, and you know the story. But yeah, we love it.
When people have said like, oh, I was in tears this episode and it made me feel less alone. Like those are the things that keep us going, right? Every message is just like, okay, and it re-energizes us some days when we're not feeling great. So it's appreciated. Some of the things that we have for 2024, I guess I'm gonna have to get used to saying that. We want to have more guests on. So we're still going to be talking about our experiences because we think that's important to share. But we also want to hear straight from the experts themselves about different topics that we're less educated in, or we just don't know as much about, or we just feel so strongly that everyone needs to know. So we're going to have a pelvic floor physio come on, a friend of ours, and she's a friend of Karlee's for years, and now I've met her, and she's great, super knowledgeable. Chiropractors, if you don't know, infants can go to chiro. It's really good for after birth recovery to go to chiro. There's a lot more that they can do, and then they don't just like adjust you and crack you. Like there's a lot more that I never knew about, but it's actually changed my postpartum recovery. Who else do we have coming on? We already have some guests recorded to do with the topic of gentle parenting, and is that really an appropriate term? So just different parenting and attachment style and adoption. And then we have more episodes coming on about IVF, how to prepare for labor and delivery with a doula. We have so much on the docket, things to do in the new year. So that's a little bit about what is coming up. And if you have any ideas or something you'd like us to talk about, you'd like us to find a expert on to come on and to interview, email us. Our email is below in the information for each episode. If you follow us on Instagram, you can DM us, just get a hold of us, comment on the podcast, let us know any topics you're interested in, and we will do our best to either talk about it ourselves and research it or get experts on the show who know more than us.
Yeah, we like those. We like the experts, so we don't have to do the research, but we'll also do some research for you guys. So let's talk family planning. So a big thing happening in early 2024 for Jen is that she is having a baby. And not only is she having a baby, but she's also, I'll let you share.
Oh, I am getting my tubes tied, which is
Tubes removed.
a permanent family planning. Tubes
Mhm.
removed. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
tubes removed, not
removed.
tied. And every time I was in the OB's office, because you have to like get signed off and you have to talk about it, and he kept saying like, "This is a permanent family decision. Are you sure you want to do this? Like, I need to ask you." And he kept asking me like several different ways. I think that you have to be sure, and they need to be sure that you know what you're consenting to. And so he asked me several times, and I was like, yes, my doctor, my psychiatrist, my psychologist, like, we're all on the same page. Like, I don't think I can do this again. And I would like my tubes removed. And I guess, fun fact, there's actually a decrease in risk for ovarian cancer if you actually have your tubes removed versus tied.
I'm pretty sure I've heard the OBs at work say that when you actually remove the tube as well, instead of just tying it, that the actual effectiveness is higher and there's no risk of them reattaching in any way. And then additionally, something to point
Yes.
out that with getting your tubes removed, fancy medical speak is a bilateral salpingectomy. You are still able to carry a child. You're just not able to conceive naturally, because what's happening is the tube that connects your ovaries and your uterus, which the egg goes from your ovaries to your uterus, that like that little bridge, she gone. So you can still go through IVF, and you can still be like an egg donor. You can still have a surrogate. Like you still have your ovaries and you still have your uterus. It's just the connection between the two are gone. So you're not able to conceive naturally, but you can still carry and or donate eggs if that's something that you wanted to in the future, which I think is
Yes.
important to know.
Decision.
Yeah.
I can't survive the hyperemesis, the toll that it takes on my body. And mentally, like, it's really, really, really hard on me, and my body does not cope well with pregnancy, and several doctors and therapists have told me this. So, and we're happy with 2. We weren't even planning the second one. We weren't even sold on having a second one yet, and here we are, and we're excited, but this will be it for us, and it's not a decision that's super easy or quick to make, but it's important to know your options. And this was something that I wanted to do because I already have to have a planned C-section. He said it's about 5 minutes extra on the surgery table. So, like, an extra 5 minutes of your C-section. And he said it doesn't change the recovery.
Mhm.
So it was easier for me to decide to do it because I'm like, I can do it at the same time. Like, they're already going to be in there. It's something that I can do. We're talking about, shouldn't I get a vasectomy? And like, should he get the snip? Should he not? Like, what are we going to do? And then this option came up and I was like, "Hey, I think this is right." And
Mhm.
like we talked about it, came to the conclusion. We're very happy and comfortable, and I'm excited for this because we can't have an oops again a couple months after having a baby. That would be no bueno, not good for us.
That's
So,
not in the plan for
yeah, that is
2024.
like a big not in the plan, not a goal for 2024. The goal is to not have any more babies in 2024. We're gonna have
Yes.
this little girl in January, and that'll be it. And we are excited for that. And yeah, it's just, I wanted to throw it out there because I don't know if everyone knows it's an option or knows it's something that you could do, especially if you already have a planned C-section. Or I just think it's good to share. I'm just being vulnerable that this is a decision that I've made
Mhm.
with my body. And yeah, I just wanted to put it out there in case any of you are having these thoughts and
Yeah,
questions about your family
curious about
planning
your
journey.
options. Yeah. So speaking of whoopsies,
Yeah. So,
I had a whoopsies myself.
yeah.
I didn't actually get pregnant, but I had a moment where I actually was panicking that I was pregnant from the whoopsies until
It
I
was
got my
days that you were
period.
like, "Oh, I
It was
actually"
2
yeah.
weeks. Like I actually was like, "Whoa." And the timing wise, my best friend gets married in August, and my August 4th, I believe, whatever the long weekend is. And I would have been due like a couple of days after that. And it's also in a different country. So like it would not have been ideal. And I panicked. I was like, one, we're not ready. Two, well, what? Like, I can't go to the wedding. I have to go to the wedding. I'm actually officiating the wedding. So like I need to be there. Anyways,
Mhm.
I was not pregnant. I was very relieved. In a moment there, I actually thought like, okay, like maybe this is a sign like I'm ready. Like I would be okay with being pregnant. The timing doesn't work. And then since then, a lot has changed. And now I'm like, nope, couple more months until we start trying at least. Like we just like, I talked earlier, like my mental health is not great. So now I'm just going to kind of focus on me for a couple of months and then reevaluate, because I have this giant fear that if like the longer I wait, that like it's either not going to happen or they're not going to be close or what. Planning the gap is very difficult, especially when you don't know if you're going to get pregnant right
Mhm.
away. And I'm kind of just letting it be that if they're 3 years apart, they're 3 years apart. That wasn't originally what I wanted, but that might just be what our family is. Maybe they're going to be 4 or 5 years apart. I think for myself, this whoopsies made me realize that, like, okay, maybe I am okay being pregnant. And then it made me realize, no, I'm not ready. And I do need to take care of my mental health
Yeah.
first, make those changes in my career, like I mentioned. And then when I'm settled and feeling myself, then I'll go and throw it all off by getting pregnant.
I know, right? Like, it's just I was telling an Adam, like, I felt like I was just at my peak coming out of postpartum. Like, I
Yeah,
was
you
doing a
were
bit better.
peaking.
Like,
You
I
were
was finally
peaking.
feeling like I was doing good. And then now I've just crashed again. I'm like, I'm excited to, like, I said, I'm like, next Christmas will be almost a year. Like, I'm excited for feeling like
Mm-hmm.
myself again. But I think it's important, like what you said, to focus on you. Like, a lot of people, I think, say, "Oh, we'll have kids. It'll fix my marriage. It'll make us closer in our marriage. It'll
Sorry, I
it'll
just can't
fill
help but
some
laugh at
hole that
that.
we're missing." No,
Oh,
but
no.
people do
Yeah,
this, right? And they
of
think, like,
course. It's not a
we'll just
Band-Aid.
have another kid
Yeah.
and, like,
Mhm.
but it's not, and you really wanna be in a good place, and there's lots of things to consider, like, financially speaking, it's also another expense. Then we were like, "Okay, our bedrooms are totally different sizes, so we're having to now pay for someone to come in to make the rooms more similar in size because we didn't know what we were," like, there was just other things to consider, like the space in your house. If you live in a two-bedroom condo, do you want to move to a three-bedroom if you're gonna have 2 kids? Are you gonna put them both and they're gonna share a room? Like, there's other things to consider, and your
There's a
relationship,
lot.
your mental health,
Your
your
car,
physical
does it
health,
fit 2 car
like,
seats? Do you
yeah.
have a double
Or if you're gonna have 3 or
stroller?
4.
Yeah. Oh my
Yes.
gosh, I can't even.
There's
This
just
morning
so
when
much, right? So
Henry was screaming this morning, and I remember thinking, like, people have 5 children. Like, there are people there who have 5 children. And, like, I don't even know. I don't even know. Like, bless
so
them.
there is more to it, right? Than just
Yeah.
wanting to have a child. And yes, you'll figure out the rest, but I think it is good to kind of at least think about those other things and, like, you
Consider
know,
those, yes.
have them go through your mind.
Of
So
course.
and I
Definitely.
mean, for us, we did it opposite, right? We got pregnant and then we had to think about these things and we're making it work and all is well and we're super
Mhm.
happy and excited. Like I keep saying, like every night, my husband's like, oh, just picture having the baby in this arm and oh, just picture the baby there. Like he is just loving this and so excited. But it was
Aw.
just, yeah, you have to adjust and adapt. But I think that that's good that at least you're thinking about it and like looking at it from different angles and you're trying to be actually prepared for it, which is
Yeah,
it's good. Not everyone
definitely
does that.
helps. Definitely helps.
Yeah.
So speaking of our goals for the new year, um, you
Mhm.
said something that made me think of this, but now I can't quite remember what that thing was. So why don't you, mom brain, why don't you just get into
I
sharing
know.
about your goals for the new year? Because I think a goal for both of us needs to be
Yeah.
that we need to be less hard on ourselves. Like we need to give ourselves a little bit more
Yes.
grace. And I see
Totally.
actually now that I read what you wrote, that is actually what you put there. So
Yeah.
enlighten us.
Um, mine is so I'm not a big like goal person. Like new year, new me. I'm gonna do this every so many times a week, and like or I'm
Mhm.
gonna quit drinking, or I'm gonna like that's not me. I haven't never been that person that's done that every year.
Your 2024 goal can be to never get pregnant again because that is legit.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
can happen. Anyway, sorry.
That would be
Ignore
on the
me.
list. But this is I wanna just focus on, like, intention and setting a good, like, mental headspace is where my focus is. So not so much like a yeah, like a New Year's goal that I'm gonna, share to the
Yeah.
world, just more like a intention and what I'm going into 2024 trying to focus on. And maybe that is the same thing, I don't know. There's a difference in my mind, which is why I said it, but maybe it's
Yeah.
really does come down to the same thing. But I really want to embrace the, like, second best parenting. And we talked about this in another episode, but basically, like, you don't have to be the best at everything. It doesn't all have to be perfect. We're going to have a 1.5-year-old and a newborn at the same time. And I don't know what that's going to look like and how you parent them both the same with the same amount of love and attention. Like, that is so overwhelming to me. And I think if I keep trying to say I need to be the best, I'm just going to burn out because it's going to be impossible for me to be the first best and the best at everything and the best parent to an infant and a toddler at the same time. Like there's only so many balls you can juggle. You're going to drop some.
Mhm.
And so I can't focus on being the best at everything anymore, especially this year. Like it's going to be hard and it's going to be challenging and I'm here for it, but I need to, set my expectations a little lower, a little bit more realistic. And this is something I talked with my therapist about last week. And we talked about like, what is that going to look like when the baby is here? And she said a goal, like something good for you to kind of focus on is even 10 minutes a day of you and Jordan. So, like spending time actually with your toddler, not with the baby, and giving her 100% of your attention. And I saw this on Instagram, but it said that for your child and their development, having 100% of you for 10 minutes is actually better than 10% of you for 100% of the day. So having actually your full attention for a short period of time is what they want. That's what they need. And so she said, if you and your husband can find ways to switch off even for 10 minutes a day of individual time with your toddler, like that is the gold standard. Like that's great. And she's like, that's
Mm-hmm.
probably not even going to happen every day, but that's a good thing to aim for. And I was like, you know what? It's good. Like it's a small thing to try to like, right? Like I
And
just
it's
need to spend a few
manageable.
minutes
Like
a day.
it's
Yes.
not too
She wasn't
lofty.
yeah, she wasn't telling me I need to spend hours with her and like and some ways that I'm trying to embrace this second best parenting is kind of educating myself more. And there's a few books that my therapist recommended. And I've got one of them. I'm waiting on the second one now. So I'm going to start reading and just kind of educating myself more about the child's brain development and attachment styles and parenting. And there's not a lot I can do with my anxiety. Like Karlee and I both say we have a lot of anxiety between the two of us. And there's not my outlets I'm just not able to do right now for various reasons, but I can educate myself and read and learn more, and I find that settles my anxiety a lot. So that is what I plan on doing. So I'm going to share some of the books that I'm looking into. So if you also are kind of a nerd like me and you want to learn and read some things about, the one of them is The Whole Brain Child. The second is Raising an Emotionally Intelligent Child. And the third, I think it's called Hang Tight, and it's a relationship with your spouse and parenting book. So it's not about the child in it. It's about you and your spouse and parenting and what that looks like together. So it's kind of looking at parenting from the child and from the spouses and from your growing up point of view. So it's looking at kind of all three different angles. So I'm going to be doing that. And those are my kind of the things I'm looking to work on. My intentions I'm setting for the year are to educate myself and just be okay with being okay.
Mm-hmm. You can actually be the first best at, or you can be the best at being the second best.
Well, okay. Well, that's still putting a lot. I don't know if I'll even be the best at second.
Okay, you
best,
can be
but
the best at not being the best. You can be the best
I'm gonna
at
be the
being cool,
best
calm,
at my
collected.
best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
And
gonna be
that's
the
the
best
best.
at
That's
my
the
best.
best. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just have to come to realize that, if all I can give one day is 5%, then that's
Mm-hmm. It's more than zero.
100% of what I can give that day, and that's
Yeah.
So
Bless.
give myself
Bless.
grace, like you said. That is the whole goal and intention of 2024 is just being okay.
Just
So what
being
about
okay,
you
being
after
okay.
that?
Just being
Yeah.
average. Well,
Yeah.
it's funny. I'm looking at my notes here. I wrote my goals for the new year are the year of Karlee. So 2023 and 2022, they were both the year of Henry. Let's be real. He was King
Oh, the
Henry.
trying to
Yeah.
conceive and
And then being pregnant, and actually all of 2021, 2022, and 2023 were all the year of Henry. And, he's obviously still the very top of the priority list. But I think building on 2023, going forward into 2024, I just want to do even more things that make me feel like me and more of like who I am now. So like I'm a mom now. So like what can Henry and I actually do for fun? And we did a lot of really fun stuff when I was on mat leave, and we spent a lot of great quality time together. And then that all went down the pooper when I went back to work. So my priorities are shifting my job and finding some better work-life balance. That is very important to me because what I'm doing right now is like not working for my mental health. And then I'm going to continue counseling because I think that also helps me become a better mom. And for some reason, this kind of came up at some point, but we talked about pink and how I never wore pink growing up because I associated it with being like a girly color, and like that's just not who I was. And anyways, I'm going to wear more pink. I've slowly started wearing more pink this year and like buying a pink mug and, like having more pink things, but I'm realizing I like pink. And to me, it's like very like healing for my inner child. So I'm going to wear more pink, and the Friendly Moms Club were pink. So I think that
I know
was
it's just so funny because I don't know if I've ever seen you wear pink. So this is a good goal.
I have a pink
Maybe
sweater.
a couple times.
I have a pink sweatsuit.
And you have the dress that has pink in it.
Yeah, my matching pink sweatsuit.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I have a pink
Okay,
sweater.
I've seen some pink.
And I have a pink t-shirt.
Yeah.
It's more of like a
Look at you go.
corally color. But yeah, I'm gonna wear more pink.
But I love that. Wear stuff that makes you happy. Who cares what
Yeah.
it mean? Like,
Yeah.
if you like pink, wear pink. If you like
Yeah.
beige, you do you and keep
Oh, I
wearing
love
beige.
beige,
But
as
like,
I'm wearing all white. Well, this is beige, and
I
then this
know,
is white.
and I'm
It's
all
nice.
black. But I
Yeah.
actually have Santa. Oh, no one's
Oh,
gonna see this.
very
I
important.
have Christmas pajamas on. But
Those are very
yeah,
important. Those are Old Navy. I know it just from looking at the pattern.
those are Old Navy. Wow, look at you. That is good. I bought maternity ones, so I'll
Mhm,
give them to
mhm.
you. You can have these for the next
Perfect.
child because they're
Perfect.
maternity ones that are only gonna fit
Wonderful.
me at like in this at this time. So
Yeah. I'll wear them whatever
yeah,
time of the year it is. And then one other thing I'm going to keep doing is doing the little things in life. So reading before bed. I just finally got my new Kobo in the mail. It broke and it was under warranty, so they sent me a new one, but it was a couple of months
sweet.
there without my Kobo, which was very sad. That's like the Canadian Kindle. And
Mhm.
then also having screen boundaries, especially at nighttime. I don't really know how to hack this if I want to go like super aggressive and like no phone time after a certain hour, or if I want to just, I don't know. Anyways, that is the top of the list. And then also continuing the daily movement because that is something that really makes me feel good. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do in the new year.
And speaking of 2024 and the media, there is this account, and Carly really wants to see if we can get them on the show. And they're all about like electronics media use in parenting, and they'd be
Oh,
really interesting to
yes.
talk to
What was the
about that,
name of them
right?
again?
I don't
Something
know, the
about
media
media.
girls or something, but
Yeah,
they're
media
very interesting
moms.
and they
Media
talk about
moms.
yeah, boundaries with TV and phones and iPads and stuff like that. And because yeah, it's interesting. I find the dinner to bedtime, I try not to use my phone. That's where I'm like I try
That's
to
a
put
good
my phone
boundary.
away for that time because then she goes to bed and I can be on my phone.
Yeah.
But when we're eating dinner and when we're spending that time together before bed, I try
Yeah.
to not be on my
Bedtime.
phone. That's my like
That's manageable. I think for me, if I
thing that
did
I'm doing right
something
now.
like that, like once I get home from work, take a break, like once I'm back with Henry, take a break
Mhm.
from my phone, and then maybe after I put him to bed, have like half an hour, power through, do all my stuff,
Yeah.
and then tucking my phone away because I find at night I will procrastinate life, but
Mhm.
just the doom scroll, and it doesn't feel so good.
Yeah.
I just found the moms we're
Yeah.
talking about are the media moms. So Dr. Roxy and Dr. Liz, two moms with PhDs, sharing research based, guilt free screen tips about TV, apps, and more for those little ones, which is lovely because they're not just saying,
See?
no,
Perfect.
we don't need that. We need people to say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll link them below in
Hmm.
the comments about the episode, but we'll reach out to them and we're gonna see what we can do.
Yeah.
Convince them to come on the show with us and
Yeah.
share
Share some of their
their
knowledge.
tips because I think this is
Yeah,
something we all worry about is screen
definitely.
time and the big thing in the media today. Well, media and parenting and yeah, you're a
Hmm.
bad parent if you let them watch TV, but like Carly and I
You
have
got to
lived
do
with
it.
letting our child watch TV this week. It's the only way we've survived. So
You know, it's funny that you
you
say
got to
that.
do what you got to do, and no
It will
judgment
be
from us.
it will be out by the time that this airs, but this morning I was actually working on a reel because Henry was sitting on a little pillow with his little like table in front of him eating some snacks. Well, actually it was his breakfast, and then watching Miss Rachel, and I took a video of it, and the reel is about like the things that I thought were so important, or the things that I said I would never do are the things that actually are
Mhm.
the most important for survival in parenting. And
Mhm.
I'm going to share it right after we finish recording, but it's so
Okay,
true. All
that's a
these
good
things
one. I
that
like
like
it.
early, like before I was even a mom, I like, not even that I judged other moms, but I like judged future mom me that if I did those things, then that meant like that I was
Mhm.
being bad, even though I didn't really judge
Mhm.
other moms for doing it because I didn't know. But I was like, but when I'm a mom, I won't be doing that.
Oh yeah, never, right? Like, yeah, I
It's
know.
literally my saving grace. And he loves it. And it's not like he sits in front of the TV all day, but today you probably can hear him screaming in the background. He is not happy. And him sitting in front of his little snack tray with his little yummy snacks with some Miss Rachel on, we need it.
Yeah.
So I'm also going to be
So yeah,
gentler on myself in 2024.
I know. I think we're gonna have to keep reminding ourselves of this. I think this is something you
Definitely.
and I are gonna have to like
Yeah.
check in with each other and like, hey,
We need
are you
like a
being nice to
code
yourself
word,
today?
like
I
a
know.
code word. Like,
When the other is being a little too much,
yeah,
that we
yeah,
can
yeah,
just
yeah,
nicely say to one another, I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know. We'll figure something out. But
yeah. We'll figure it out. We'll share.
that is us in a
That is
nutshell, like
us.
what's going on right now, what we're focusing on, and what we plan to do with the podcast. So again, we'd love it if you want to reach out and tell us what topics, things you're looking forward to in the new year, that you want us to talk about or guests to have on, experts. We
Mm-hmm.
will look into it. We will try our best to make it all happen. So please
Yeah.
reach out.
And if you're connected to the media moms, let them know we're great.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'd love it in. All right.
Perfect timing. I think we're good. So
Let's
we
do
won't say
this.
Merry Christmas because this is going
No.
to air on New Year's, but
Yeah.
Happy New Year's, everyone. Wishing
Happy New
everyone a
Year.
happy 2024.
2024.
And yeah, that it's whatever goals, intentions that you have, that you can have some time to focus on that.
Yeah. And it's okay if your goals for 2024 are to have no goals. That's okay too.
Or to survive, because that's
Survive.
literally
Yeah.
was my 2023 was survival. Like I just got
Yeah.
through it, and that's whew,
Mm-hmm.
that
We
was
did
good.
it. We're here.
So
We're
okay.
here. Okay.
All
Well,
right. Well,
happy Mom
happy
Day
Mama Day, and we will see you next week.
and happy 2024. Goodbye.